This is the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans, with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, and Jason Eidsmoe. We're talking Padres, Chargers, and Aztec sports.
Got to hit it to the right place. And he hits it out to center. Right center. Blackman's got a long way to go. He's still going.
Off the wall.
And it is off the wall. It takes a funny hop. Kemp is rounding second. He's heading to third. And Matt Kemp into third base with a triple and the first cycle in the history of the San Diego Padres.
He will hand it off. Tomlinson plows his way towards the goal line. LaDainian Tomlinson, one step closer to football immortality. Tomlinson has tied the single-season record. And the handoff to Tomlinson. Left side, and he will gallop into the end zone. Charger fans are witnesses to history.
Pope thought about it. Now steps up. And the freshman hits the jumper at the buzzer.
Well, this kid is some prospect. Big time length, big time game.
Pope straight away three. Count it. Malik Pope. Pope off glass and good. On the other end, Joel doesn't miss that one. Shepard alley-oop to Pope. He got up there. Oh, wow.
It's time to let your voice be heard.
Phil, knowing how hard Keenan's worked to come back and have to see him go down like that, how tough is that just as his teammate, someone who's seen him do that work?
Yeah, it was tough. You know, he and I were talking that week. I think it was our off day Tuesday, and just he was watching something on film, and we were texting back and forth, and he was saying how excited he was to play. He couldn't wait to play, and you know, it's tough. Tough for him first. You hate it for him first, and obviously, it's certainly it hurts us as well. You lose your top receiver, but hate it for him. And he was off to such an awesome start too.
All right, that was Philip Rivers talking about what a bummer it was to see Keenan Allen go down. I want to welcome everybody. It's Wednesday at 7 o'clock. That means it's time for the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for the fans.
By the depressed Charger fans.
That's right.
By the
fans. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome. I want to also let you know that audio clip of Philip Rivers was courtesy of Chargers.com. Real quickly, for those of you just joining us for the first time, every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we are live on Spreaker. You can find us on Spreaker, on iHeart, on TuneIn, on iTunes, on Stitcher, and then now we are also part of the New Media Radio Network. You can find them on newmediaradio.net. We air every Thursday, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock a.m., They are a 24-hour podcasting network, and we're really, really proud to be part of that. And really happy.
What great idea! I'd like to make an announcement. Whoever's eating Hall's candy with their wrapper needs to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think it's Mikey because Mikey does that crap. Stop eating a Wendy's burger on the Skype line. I can hear you crinkling your wrapper. I know the burger's really good. You're having the son of the Baconator, and that's a phenomenal burger. You need to knock it off, okay? Like, it's getting really loud in my ear.
And you're making us hungry.
So you need to stop it. And you're making me hungry, too, so knock it off.
It was actually a Danish with my Ovaltine.
Keep away from the mic.
He's dipping a Danish.
Wendy's boy.
He's dipping a Danish in his Ovaltine. Nice.
Unbelievable. The most professional.
Yeah, we don't have Jake. We don't have Jake this week to tell us to tell us that we're the most professional podcast.
Right.
Real quickly, for those of you out there, I want to thank Richard Mata. He's in the chat room. He's ready to talk some sports. I'm Jason Eidsmoe. We got Josh Taylor live from Arizona. We got Justin Smead live from Alpine, and we got Mike Maciejewski live from his toilet while he's eating a Danish. Mike Maciejewski, of course, is owner and operator of Aztecs Hoops Nation, so you need to check him out. He's going to come in, and in the olden days, he used to have my back, but I have a feeling that this show is going to be a 3-on-1. It's going to be
too bad Jake's not here.
This is going to be a 3-on-1.
I'm glad this is a podcast and it's rated R.
This is going to be a 3-on-1 gangbang here.
Wow, this is crazy. I didn't sign up for any of this.
So, anyways, like I said, if you're joining us through New Media Network New Media Radio Network, if you're listening to us, we appreciate you listening, and we want you to keep listening there. However, join us every Wednesday at 7 o'clock at Spreaker.com. Look for the San Diego Sports Junkies. You can be part of the show. You can be in the chat room like Richard is right now. What the fuck happened, guys? Honestly, that's what we called this week's show because, I had a few people over watching the game. We were absolutely cruising to victory.
How many guys were thinking Super Bowl in that first half?
Oh,
yeah, right.
Super Bowl.
Let's be honest. That's a tough place to go down and play, but to hang tight, to hang tough and to keep it close would be one thing, but to go down there and absolutely dominate them like we were, the thing that I didn't quite understand is, when defensively, I'm trying to remember Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters didn't look like he knew how to play football in the first half of the game. It was unbelievable. I think he got flagged for 2 face masks, and he had like 2 others that he didn't get called for. And then all of a sudden, apparently, he learned during halftime because he was decent in the second half, like the rest of them. But let's go around the room here, and let's quickly. We could each talk for 45 minutes on what the hell went wrong. But quickly, Justin, what were your thoughts on what happened?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It was a tale of 15 minutes, essentially. You had 45 minutes of greatness, and then nothing. You just couldn't put anything together. No drives. Marcus Peters is considered one of the top corners in this league. I'm just going to put this out here. I know Keenan's out for the year. Keenan made him look retarded, and I don't excuse the phrase retarded. I mean that in a silly fashion. But what a display by Keenan Allen. Every time Keenan made a play, he was in Marcus's face.
Yep.
Marcus is one of the top 5 corners probably in this league.
He sure didn't look like it in the first half.
No, he did not. He looked like Craig Mager, your boy.
Oh, ouch.
I'm just kidding.
Why are we picking on Mager? He didn't do nothing.
I'm sorry. He looked pretty bad. Yeah. But no, what do you say with that collapse? You have a 27-3 lead, I think, going in the fourth, I want to say.
I think you're right.
You can't lose the football game. I don't care if you run Melvin Gordon 3 straight plays every time.
Yeah.
Then run it away.
It almost seems like you could take a knee. And we weren't even, it's not even like we turned the ball over and got him back into it.
Oh.
It was just, it was.
That, and we'll get to that later. That falls on what, guys?
The one thing that I want to, before we go on, the one thing I want to mention is, one thing the Chargers have done when they're successful, when they go against a defense that has a good player like Marcus Peters or like Richard Sherman, they're not afraid. They don't care. Jake says it all the time. Phillip Rivers doesn't care who it is. Whoever's hot, whoever's open is going to get the ball. Keenan Allen and Phillip Rivers were not afraid of him, and it showed. Everybody talked about, how Keenan dominated Richard Sherman and stuff. He didn't dominate Richard Sherman, but what happened was we caught balls on him because we weren't afraid of him. And It was the same thing against Marcus Peters. Keenan Allen runs such precise, such good routes. He can get open on any corner in the league. He did not care who was guarding him. Josh, what happened, man? What happened last Sunday?
Well, out here in warm Arizona, you don't get to see a whole lot of football unless you have DirecTV, and I will be changing this very soon. So I didn't get to watch a whole lot of the game, but statistically looking at things and just hearing from you guys, texting throughout the game and other people and whatnot as I was trying to follow on Red Zone, the Chargers were rolling. They were completely dominating KC every facet of the game, offensively, defensively, and I guess you could say special teams. Lambeau kicking it out of the end zone and forcing them to start in the 25 every time. Keenan Allen goes down, and I'm not saying that's a turning point.
Oh, yes, it was.
It let the air out of this team. Statistically looking at things on offense, we were 6 of 7 on third downs in the first half. Coming out of the break in the second half, we were 1 of 8. So our offense not being able to move the ball, which led to our defense getting tired out on that field, constantly trying to hold a pretty good Kansas City offense. they dominated them in the first half because they didn't have to be on the field all that long. The offense was extending drives, going deep into Kansas City's side of the ball and scoring. Where on the flip side, you start going 3 and out and getting your punter kicking 17-yard punts, putting them in a position to tie the game with like 2 minutes left. You're shooting yourself in the foot. And it all goes to coaching. And a lot of people want to point at McCoy, but at the same time, who's calling the offensive plays? And where did our running back, go in the second half? Because he was, I wouldn't say unstoppable, but he was damn good in the first half. It was non-existent in the second half.
He was rolling, and I'll tell you what, we scored on every single drive before Keenan Allen got hurt. Every single one we scored. Keenan Allen got hurt, and then all of a sudden we started punting the ball. Mike, what happened on Sunday?
Well, Frank Wright was calling about. Oh, was he not there, guys? I'm sorry. No, man. I mean, it's very obvious. You took out Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon played 23 snaps. I don't know the count of how many in the first half, but he looked really good. He was out there all the time. I noticed him in the second half. I didn't see him. I didn't see when he was out on the field, and I just feel like McCoy got scared, and that's honestly, I felt like he was playing not to lose. He panicked when Keenan Allen got hurt, but really, that to me was the big difference. Just playing without Melvin Gordon and not playing him, because he was like someone's, I think it was Justin said, he wasn't dominating, but he was playing very well. He was moving, he was getting yardage, positive yardage. The blocking was going well.
He was getting 3-4 yards a carry.
Yeah, he was getting 3-4 yards a carry easily every time, and he would eventually get those help get those second and short, third and shorts.
Right.
And that wasn't happening in the second half. So definitely not playing Melvin Gordon, I think was the problem.
Well, here's the thing. One of the things is McCoy's not the one calling the plays, okay? McCoy is not the one standing on the sideline calling the plays. They put together a game plan. He's certainly part of that. But he's not, I don't think he's out there micromanaging the offense on game day. You can say McCoy got scared and McCoy this. Whisenhunt is the guy who's calling the plays. McCoy's not over there saying, you're in, you're out. That's not who's doing that. That's Whisenhunt. And I'm going to tell you what, the biggest change, I hate to keep using this as an excuse, but did you see how much more aggressive Kansas City was able to get the second Keenan Allen was out? They were not afraid of nothing anymore. The safeties started stepping up. Everybody tightened up, and all of a sudden there was nowhere to go. They had that extra guy in the box. We could not run the ball. Melvin Gordon was out there a little bit in the second half, got stuffed when he ran, just ran into the line and dropped. Not his fault. There was nowhere to go. And it's not like our offensive line was getting blown off the ball. There was just too many guys to block, because there was nobody out there that was saying, okay, Keenan's gone, I'm going to step up. We had a couple guys make a play here. There, Tyrell Williams had a couple big catches, but he didn't, somebody needs to take over. Somebody needed to say, all right, guys, I'm going to do it. And it was like last year's team. And I was listening to the radio this morning, and it was really, really interesting. Last year, in the games that Keenan Allen played, the Chargers were 4th in the league in yards per play. When Keenan Allen went out, the Chargers were 31st in the league in yards per play. And I'm not saying that was 100% all him, because we had other problems too. But I'm sorry, this team is a completely different offense without Keenan Allen.
That includes running game, too.
That's everything. Yards per play.
Yeah,
yards per play.
That does include running game. So, last year was a total disaster in the run game.
I think him not being there affected the running game as well.
It definitely did.
I will say, Jason, I also have a stat for you. When Keenan Allen played last year, the Chargers were 2-6.
Okay.
So that's, like I said, sure. You can pull that number out.
And that brings me to my point.
But if you do remember last year, our defense was absolutely horrid at the beginning of the year, and we started getting it together. Once Perryman came in there, and once those guys started playing, we got Verrett back, the defense actually started playing better. It was the offense that was playing poorly.
Chargers were 4-12, right?
Yes.
They
so
were.
2-6 and 2-6.
Yes.
With or without him, and with the defense getting better.
I don't think
that brings you guys to defense. The defense looked like a totally different, at times, totally different defense.
First half to second half.
I can tell you one thing.
Go ahead, Josh. Go, Josh.
I can tell you one thing they need to remove from the playbook immediately is the prevent defense. All you're doing is preventing a victory.
I'll tell you what.
Standing 10 feet.
That
10
defense
yards off the ball in the second half when they think that they have this game done in the fourth quarter is absolutely ridiculous.
I'm gonna tell you what. First of all, it wasn't a prevent defense. They did definitely play softer. Here's the reason why it didn't work: because everybody on the fucking defense forgot how to tackle. Have you seen? I don't think Denzel Perryman missed as many tackles all last year that he missed in the first game.
He had a rough game.
He looked awful. And I don't think he's awful, and I'm not off of his bandwagon, but he had a terrible game. And not just him.
I saw him make one great play, and that was it.
And that was it.
The coverage was bad. The coverage was really bad.
But it was...
He missed some guys that were...
Those
running backs were running free.
It was the coverage on the running backs and the tight ends. Kelsey, for crying out loud. Kelsey and the running backs, every freaking play... They'd throw it to one of them for 2 or 3 yards. They'd break 3 or 4 tackles, and they'd turn it into 15 yards.
Yeah, that can't happen. That can't happen at all.
It was awful.
And then you saw Jatavius Brown come in and do some great things.
Yes, I liked what I saw from him.
Oh, well, he's got he's built like Perriman, but he's faster. I mean, if they're already giving him some time, I do like that. But no, as a whole in the defense, the beginning of the game, it was Mebane, it was Legit getting in the back.
Yes.
It was so great. We were high-fiving and we were getting all excited. Run game was getting stuffed a little bit. He'd get a few chunk plays.
Every once in a while.
Crazy, they weren't dominant by any means, but they would bend, don't break, type of thing. So, yeah, just a total different mindset in the second half. I have no idea what happened.
I want to agree with Justin there. I mean, I think the defense and the running game were what made this team really great in the first half. And, that's two things that were missing last year.
Why do you take your horse out? Who takes him out like that? Who says, it's not Mike McCoy, though. He's not calling the plays.
But that's the thing.
I don't think it is McCoy. I don't think it was McCoy.
Is he on account?
McCoy's making big picture decisions like who's going for it if we're going for it on fourth down, if we're kicking a field goal, which we'll get to that, by the way, too. If we're kicking a field goal, if we're punting, if we're doing any of that stuff. Mike McCoy is not making play calls. He's not saying this guy's in and this. That's the offensive coordinator who's got the feel for that.
Okay. If Mike McCoy is making those decisions, and that's a scary thing because Mike McCoy should not be making those decisions because he's a complete idiot when it comes to analytic numbers. But the thing is that at some point, as a head coach, you have to look at what's going on and say, you know what? You need to bring in Melvin Gordon. You need to, he has to step. I mean, you can't just say it's not my fault. It's my.
Even if you ran him 3 straight times.
But I'm saying, last year, again, we sat here and again, I will always point to this. Everybody sat here and blamed Frank Wright. Now you have Ken Whisenhunt, who everybody before the season was like, he's awesome at offense. He's an great offensive coordinator. First game, it's like, oh, you guys are like saying he's to blame for not putting these guys in, and you may be right, but at some point McCoy is the face. He has to take responsibility, and at some point you may not micromanage, but you have to step up and say, we need to change something here.
Right.
You can't let him fail and then just say, I gave him freedom. No, as a head coach, that's your job to step in and say something's going wrong. Let's fix this.
Here's the thing, and first of all, I am so happy they brought Ken Whisenhunt back. Yes. I don't want you to sit here and think that I'm banging on Ken.
This isn't a bash.
That's not what I'm not trying to bash him.
You're sullying his name.
But here's one thing that I remember is the last time we made the playoffs, Ken Whisenhunt was our offensive coordinator. Yes.
But we all know what happened in that Denver.
And we had some adversity. We had some guys out that we were used to having in, and he was not able to adjust to that stuff, and he called a terrible game. Right. And the same thing happened this game. All of a sudden we lose Keenan Allen, which they're not expecting to do, and all of a sudden it's like he wasn't able to overcome that.
Right.
And nobody was able to overcome that, but he wasn't either. He was not able to make them pay.
Well, personnel-wise, I mean, gosh,
What makes you think that I love Danny Woodhead? I'm the biggest Danny Woodhead supporter you've ever met in your life. I know it. So I want 30, 35 carries for Melvin Gordon if he's getting 2 touchdowns in the first half.
No, I agree.
Breaking bus holes, and he's going to the second level on multiple occasions. You got to keep running him, and the O-line was getting great push off the line. They were dominating the offensive line with that fullback and Phillip under center, and they left that, and they went to a shotgun with Woodhead, and I like Woodhead, but you can't do that.
And you know, the thing is, it wasn't like the defensive line. I mean, the offensive line, the protection wasn't there in the second half. It's not because the offensive line was playing poor. It's because Kansas City started sending more guys because they had no fear of our offense. Our offense put no fear in them, and nobody stepped up and said, you know what, we're going to make you pay. He kept throwing, you know, he ran that wide receiver screen twice, which fooled absolutely nobody on that team. But, you know, the one play that, you know, it's real easy to Monday morning quarterback this thing. But if he had run some actual straight screens to like Danny Woodhead, which he did on the very last drive, and if you remember, it gained some yards, and then something else happened and ended up stalling that drive. But if he had run some plays like that to make them think a little bit before just absolutely coming after the quarterback, you know, things might have been different. Real easy to say, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I think you limit yourself. You put Danny Woodhead in, you know, it's pretty much 1 of 2 plays. Maybe a wheel route or a draw.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. That's about it. I mean,
he was getting yards. It's not like he wasn't getting yards, but they weren't getting enough to get first downs.
I have a question for Justin. Justin, when will Danny Woodhead know more than 2 plays in the playbook? I think it's long enough. Can he get a third play in here?
That's what I don't get. There was no, and you're right. There's no creativeness. There, you can. I didn't see one time where Danny Woodhead was lined up in the slot and Melvin Gordon was in the backfield with a fullback. Danny Woodhead's probably one of the best slot receivers in the game.
He's going to have to be this year.
Well, yeah,
now.
but he is.
Yeah.
He's a Wes Welker 2.0.
Yeah.
Or put him back there in an I formation and
he can play anywhere you want him to. He's a decoy, and they don't like. There's no creativeness there. Like
where was
you
Travis
just said,
Benjamin?
I'm going to line up with Danny Woodhead now, and then the pistol again, and hand it off to him. Like, stop it. You are in the lead by what? 24 points? Knock it off.
All right, Lambo's 54-yard field goal miss. Real easy to Monday morning quarterback.
Bad call.
You think so?
Very bad.
Fucking Josh Lambo should fucking make a 54-yard field goal. Holy shit! How's the
field?
Pin them back and let your defense do their job.
If let me tell you something right now. If they had chose to punt the ball on that play, everybody would be screaming, going, "You have a good field goal kicker. Why are you so afraid?"
No, they're
That's
not.
what everybody would be saying.
If we win, no.
No, of course not. If we win, I'm saying if we lost like we did now. I'll tell you who else had a really, really, really bad game, and that's Drew Kaiser. Holy shit. Not only was he having a bad game, averaging about 39 yards a punt, but then he comes in and gives us a 17-yard whopper when we need a big punt.
2 minutes to go.
I mean,
under 2 minutes to go, it gives you a 17-yard kick.
And that's what that's, you know, we can talk about McCoy making, you know, there's plenty of calls that you can say, well, he should have done this or he should have done that, but he's not the one that missed a 54-yard field goal. I'm sorry. In 2016, 54-yard field goals are makeable. Just about everything is makeable now for these kickers. Second, he's not the one.
Change field position.
He's not the one who.
Give it to him at the 50-yard line.
And if you punt it 17 yards, you give it to him at the 50-yard line too.
You risk that. You just don't go for it there. You don't.
He wasn't the one out there missing all the tackles.
I mean, I think you go for it, but it's a 54-yarder. It's, you know, I don't know what the odds are. 50-yarders.
54-yarder, you should have faith that your kicker is going to make a 54-yard field goal. In this league, all field goals. It's not like this isn't 1987. I mean, 54-yarders are chip shots now.
And we saw what
that field goal is probably like the 10th, you know, on my list of problems with that game.
Okay.
I mean, it's not even on my radar here.
Okay.
Well, I think that swung the whole game, to be honest with you.
It may have swung the game. I just don't think it's on my list. I think the punt was a little bit more, you know, it's somewhere behind the punt.
The 17-yard punt.
Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen getting hurt. The defense sucked in the second half.
Yeah, the punt was fucking awful.
Yeah, there was like a bunch of things that are in front of that probably swung the game before that.
Not being able to cover a running back out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Didn't we have that problem last year?
Tackling somewhere.
awful tackling.
Turning into Gronk.
I really hope Joey Bosa is as good as they think that he's going to be.
We won't know because he's still not practicing.
I know, but we really would love to see that.
I just want to know if he can play wide receiver. That's what I want to know.
You know, and I do want to apologize for picking Kyle Emanuel as my player of the game before the thing. Oh my God, he barely did anything.
I had Jason Verrett, and he had an awesome interception.
He had an awesome. He gave up a touchdown, but he had good coverage on that touchdown. What are you going to do?
Great coverage. That was a perfect.
What are you going to do? You can't get mad about stuff like that. I thought our cornerbacks all did really well. It wasn't the cornerbacks; it was the linebackers.
The first half, Alex Smith couldn't throw anywhere. Yeah. He was just stuck in the pocket, and he had to throw it away.
And we got good yard. We got sacks. We got good pressure. The problem was he realized, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not throwing to my wide receivers anymore. Let's just throw it to the tight end and the running backs because they can't cover them. And he was right, man. We couldn't cover them.
All right, so we spent a half hour beating up the Chargers. There's obviously some good stuff that happened. Let's go around the room and let's give us our top 3 things that you were impressed with and excited for moving forward.
All right, Positive Patty.
Well, I guess I'll lead it off then. Number 1, I loved what I saw out of Melvin Gordon. I loved how hard he ran. I loved how the fact that they were actively trying to take that ball from him, and they never came close to getting it from him. I loved the push that the offensive line was getting, even on plays where he was stuffed. He was just stuffed when he got to the line. They never handed him the ball where there was 4 guys standing there waiting for him, like was happening last year. I really liked what I saw out of. Hold on, I gotta go back through my notes here. Jatavius Brown. I thought I saw some really good stuff from him. What
can Brown do for you?
I loved him knocking down that pass. He looked like he was in the play game in the downs that he was out there. He was making his presence felt. I loved what I saw from Brandon Mebane. Not just the sack either. Mebane and Legit are going to be deadly this year, I think. And if Bosa ever makes the field with Mebane and Legit and Bosa, I think that's going to be awesome.
That's nasty if he could get on the field.
And then, of course, I loved what I saw from Keenan Allen when he was healthy. I loved the fact that he made their Pro Bowl
makes me sick
cornerback
makes me sick.
Look like he didn't know how to play football.
Makes me sick.
Yeah,
to my stomach.
Does it sound like somebody's sleeping right now?
That's Mike. That's Mikey. He's pushing.
Stop breathing.
He's pushing on the toilet.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. Wake me when it's my turn, guys.
Mikey, your turn. Give me some positives.
I don't have to go last. That's awesome. I agree with the first 2. Jason, I thought Mebane did great. I thought Melvin Gordon obviously looked spectacular. I liked the cornerbacks. I thought when Hayward was in there, he looked good. Even Flowers didn't get beat too bad. So it was a good performance by them, but again, it was just just not a complete game. So
I got a question in the chat room, but we'll go around the room though and talk about what we thought we liked. Josh, what did you like? What were positives that you got?
I want to hit Justin first.
Okay, Justin, positives.
Positives are. There are none. We lost. No, I'm just kidding. No,
the game ended.
The game ended, and I was half drunk, so I was good.
Yeah.
But for me, guys, it was the lines, both front lines.
Yeah.
The way they came out and played, as you alluded to, Jason, Mebane and Legit. What great presence. They were getting in the backfield just consistently. Whether they were making a play or not, and maybe the play ran away from them, they were pushing the pocket. I loved every minute of it. It reminded me of Jamal Williams and John Perella and all those days. I loved it all.
Yeah.
Going to the offensive side, I loved the push they were getting for Melvin. They were running with an attitude. Like, I don't give a shit who's across the line from you. Melvin was getting yards after the first initial hit.
Dontari Poe was getting pushed all over the field.
All over the place.
And he's good.
And Melvin Gordon.
That boy good.
Once he got to the second level, he ran through linebackers.
Yes.
An extra 2 to 3 yards each play. I was so proud of Melvin. Love that. Those 2 lines, and then I was very, very excited about the secondary play. Jason Verrett, what can you say about him? Did get beat on that one play, but that was a perfectly thrown ball.
What are you going to do?
So I mean, but overall, man, you have a lot of great things to say about the first half. What's your there'd be no gripe there,
Josh?
I have to agree. Melvin Gordon was probably the star of the game. Do you guys know that he became the first Chargers running back with 2 touchdowns in the first half of the season since Gene Foster in 1965? Just throw that. Throw that at you.
Who the hell's Gene Foster?
To know who that is.
I'm the biggest Charger fan there is, and I don't think I've ever heard of Gene Foster before.
And you're the oldest Charger fan there is.
Yes.
Well, this room, at least.
He's a man.
I'm a man. I'm 43.
Yeah.
I have to be very impressed with what I saw out of Terrell Williams. He is going to be a big factor, moving forward.
He's going to have to be.
For 71 yards, and what I liked about him from watching the replay is his explosiveness. I didn't realize for as big bodied as he is, he's got some skills and
very fast.
He can stretch the field, and the combination of him and Travis Benjamin now being the focal points at wide receiver, there's a lot of speed there. And it's going to be interesting to see how Phillip Rivers utilizes that moving forward. And then mostly, I was excited to see, at least in the first half, the way our defensive line was able to manhandle the offensive line for the most part. They got a good push. They were able to stuff the running game for the most part and make it difficult on Alex Smith. And that's something that we've been lacking in the last few years. So I was really excited to see that D-line do some damage and let our linebackers and whatnot go to work.
Yeah, there are some good things we can take from this. Did they collapse? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But there are some good things that we can take from this game. As hard and as painful as it was. Richard Mata in the chat room says, is it too early to put McCoyle in at safety? I'm assuming he means starting because McCoyle was out there a lot.
Yeah, he was making his presence felt, too.
It was hard to find him because he changed numbers. He took Stevie Williams' number.
Yeah.
He's wearing number 23 now. He was out there quite a bit, so I'm a huge McCoyle fan, but McCoyle, the safeties did not play very strong, and McCoyle was one of the safeties.
I liked how he played in the run game.
Yeah.
He was a presence in the run game.
But he was one of the safeties out there that was not able to cover the running backs and the tight end too. He's he wasn't an obvious problem out there, but he certainly wasn't part of the solution. Anyways,
can you guys tell me who was the safety that got that hit, that illegal hit to the head?
Jaleel Addae. It was.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
No, I was being specific.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there like, of course it was you.
Yeah.
Of course it was you.
Remember what we said all offseason about Addae was, if you're going to cost us 15 yards a game, you need to make big plays too. You can't just cost us.
He needs to put the other guy out for at least 2 to 3 quarters. That'd be nice.
You need to get some interceptions or you need to make some big plays, and then I'll accept the 15 yards. But if you're just a pedestrian, defensive player out there, and then you're also costing us 15 yards like Nick Zubner did every game last year, you can't do that. You have to control yourself. Anyways. So
commercial break.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually a great idea. Let's
regather our thoughts and not. I think we got our yelling out.
Yeah.
Today's San Diego Sports Junkies brought to you by Ovaltine. Ovaltine. Moms choose Ovaltine. Choosy moms choose Ovaltine. I know it's GIF, but whatever.
So do kids.
Awesome. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna see what everybody thinks we need to do at the wide receiver position moving forward. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Calling all podcasters. Have you ever wanted your voice to be heard? Do you need help expanding your audience? Are you curious just how far your show could reach? Well, look no further. We are New Media Radio Network, the premier podcast streaming network. Let us take your show to the next level. For more information, check out our website, www.newmediaradio.com. newmediaradio.net.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
All right, we are back now. We have calmed down. We all drank a little bit of Ovaltine.
Good.
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. Thanks, Jake.
He bought a round since he was
out. He FedExed us all a jar of Ovaltine, and it's much appreciated. Although Justin's Ovaltine is full of hops and malted barley, apparently.
Hey, those tall cans, they got a lot of Ovaltine in them.
Yeah. Okay, so moving forward, of course, we don't have Keenan Allen anymore. He's gone for the year. I guess the only good news is the ACL was the only ligament that was damaged. I guess if you're trying to be positive Patty about it, which I'm always trying to do, that means that his rehab will be a little bit easier. Hopefully, he'll be back at the beginning of the year. What do we do moving forward? We have Travis Benjamin, Tyrell Williams. What the hell is that?
Sorry, motorcycle passing by the house.
Okay. Travis Benjamin.
He's got Wendy's wrappers, motorcycles.
Ovaltine. Toilets flushing. Travis Benjamin, Tyrell Williams, Dontrell Inman, and Isaiah Burse really are basically the guys on the team right now. Now, they brought in Aaron Dobson this week. They brought in Chris Givens. They brought in Griff Whalen. Let me just say, if any of the guys were worth being on the team, they would have brought them in training camp. And none of those guys were brought in training camp. None of those guys are the answer. Now, my personal opinion is you got to bring Dom Williams up from the practice squad, because if you don't bring him up, what the hell is he doing on the practice squad anyways? We need another wide receiver. Isaiah Burse is going to have to be a bigger part of this offense. And I say leave Travis Benjamin where he's at. I bounce Tyrell Williams over to Keenan Allen's spot. That's the answer for me. We're going to go with Tyrell Williams and Travis Benjamin starting. We're going to go with Dontrell Inman and Isaiah Burse. And then Dom Williams will be the fifth wide receiver or the inactive guy, unless they want to activate 5 wide receivers. I don't want them to bring in Aaron Dobson or Chris Givens or Griff Whalen. None of those guys, to me, are worth bringing over. James Jones couldn't make the squad in the preseason, so I don't want to bring him back. I wouldn't mind if they had the phone number of Denario Alexander. Maybe he's in shape still. I loved what we saw from him, but there's nobody really out there. Justin, you agree? What do you think they should do?
I agree with you on the fact that we're pretty depleted. I don't. This is terrible, guys. I mean, we couldn't ask for a worse scenario for wide receivers. We have one big threat. It's Tyrell Williams, and he's in his first year really. Not his first year technically, but first year starting in the starting mindset. Played well in Kansas City, but are we going to sit here and deem him Vincent Jackson already? I'm not. I got to see it, and he has got to prove it to us.
Hey, is Jair Tutu still playing?
No, well, I know Chris Chambers is around. He could come hang out.
Oh, man.
I remember
How about Rashae Caldwell?
I remember the
He's in prison.
Yeah, he's in prison.
Yeah.
But or Buster Davis is still around, I'm sure. But I think for us, they're going to have to bring somebody in. I'm not a huge fan of Dom Williams. I like Dom Williams. I thought
I'm not a huge fan of him either.
Right? No, and I know, but you had said you have to bring him up. No, you really don't. I mean, you got 4 guys there. They'll get you by, and they only carried 4 last week.
Right.
They're going to bring in these guys and try them out. From what I'm hearing, they're going to bring in 10 more and see what happens. I don't think they're particularly comfortable with Dom Williams. I think he's a
project.
He's a project guy,
Yeah.
and I don't think they hate Dom Williams. I just think he has potential down the road, just not right now to be in an NFL lineup. You have to bring in a veteran, in my opinion. I was actually hoping the Whalen thing worked out. He kind of reminded me of a Wes Welker type, And not to mention
because he's small and white.
Well, no, because he's quick and he's a slant guy. He's just kind of like a Keenan Allen shiftiness type of player. And Wes Welker is still available as well. So we haven't even touched on that, but he has concussion issues.
Yeah, I was going to say, we already have enough wide receivers on our DL.
Sure. And then the hot rumor now, is the Josh Gordon. Do you go out and get a
I say no.
guy, or do you give up a third-round pick for a guy like that? I don't know what you got to do. But what has the knock on this organization been? It's been Phillip Rivers has to have talent around him to do anything. And if you don't put talent around him this season, you're doomed.
Yeah.
You're doomed.
You're right.
Doomed. You have Travis Benjamin. I'm just going to tell you guys.
Time to step up, Travis.
Well, sure. But he's 5'0".
Yeah.
He's a speed burner. What are you going to do? You're going to throw him over the middle? He's going to get his head knocked off. He's a flat, straight runner. You're not, or a little curl route guy, or a flat guy. You have to bring in somebody else. You have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
All right, Mikey, what do we do?
Well, I mean, it's got to be on Benjamin now. I mean, he should be used to this. He played for the Browns last year, and that receiving core was terrible.
What? He played for them exactly.
And he had a great year. So he can have one here with a better quarterback.
Have a great year, but he can't carry the load.
Right. Maybe he can.
He needs to. He doesn't have a choice.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a choice. He needs to, and he needs to do better than he did last year. He needs to do it for the Chargers this year with a better quarterback. I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying he needs to. And I was pretty disappointed in how he played this last week. I felt like he should have been the go-to guy in the second half when Keenan went down, and he didn't become that, obviously, because we couldn't move the ball very much. So you're going to have to depend on him. I like Griff Whalen just because his name is Griff. I think that's pretty cool.
Professor Griff?
Yeah, exactly.
For any of you Public Enemy fans?
Griff's just a cool name. And, no, I mean, you're going to have to roll with 4. And I don't know if you bring Williams. Like I said, he might be a project. You might want to leave him on the practice squad. But I agree. There's really no one out there. I mean, when we saw the names that came in, Griff Whalen, you're like, whoa.
Chris Givens.
Yeah. Chris Givens.
Get out of here.
Chris Givens couldn't even play for the Rams.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And the Rams got
and the Rams suck.
They're terrible.
The Rams, you know how bad our offense was in the second half? That was the Rams offense the whole game.
Yeah. You guys, I mean, here's the thing, though. And I know we're knocking on all these guys, but, do we go make a trade? Or are you going to be that bold this year in a year that you need fan support for a stadium?
Yeah. I don't think
that you need to give Phillip Rivers a little more
help.
Or do you wait and see a couple weeks to see how they work out?
I don't think a wide receiver coming in here could learn this offense. That's my concern, is being able to actually learn the offense and fit in. Josh, what do we do?
Here's what you have to do, and for multiple reasons. We don't have depth right now. You have to improve the depth at wide receiver. But you have to improve it in a way that we have somebody who is a dominating force.
Josh wants to trade for Giancarlo Stanton.
The Chargers have a couple things going for them, guys.
Yeah.
They have the opportunity to take this division.
Yes.
They really do. I truly believe we have the opportunity to take the division this year.
I do too.
We have the opportunity to get a stadium downtown. These two things don't happen unless you have a Keenan Allen-esque type wide receiver. So what do you do?
Good point.
You have to make a trade.
Good point.
You have to make a trade. You have to grab your balls and go out and bring in somebody.
Bring in who?
And I know Josh Gordon isn't the popular.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Have something to say.
Larry Fitzgerald would be a good fit.
The popular choice, but Josh Gordon can be relatively inexpensive and extremely talented. When the guy is on the field, he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And anybody that plays fantasy will agree with me in that statement.
That's all I wanted to say. And that was
all day long.
That's an argument we can all make. He is a stud on the field.
But
when he's on
I look at it from a standpoint of we have the opportunity to win this division. If we don't do something drastic, then we're just going to waste this year away. We only have until November to really get people excited about this team so they can, sign in this new stadium to be built downtown. We don't have a lot of time, guys. We don't have time to sit around and bring in these nobodies that no one's going to get excited about. You need excitement around this team, and you need it as quick as humanly possible.
Well, the problem with that, Josh, is in the NFL you can't do what baseball does. You don't make 5-player deals. And I agree with you. I wish we could. I really do. I want to bring in a big time name, but you're not putting 5 players together in a package and a first-round pick, like baseball does. That's what I hate about the NFL. They don't do it enough. I think it would be great, but they can't because you got to learn playbooks. You got to learn. It's just crazy systems, But for me, and Josh kind of hit it, was that this division is wide open in my opinion. Kansas City is going to be a good team. They're going to be solid. Denver, even though they beat Carolina, okay, I don't like the quarterback at all. No. I don't think they're a great team. And the Raiders, well, they barely beat the Saints, and the Saints are supposed to be, an okay team, but they just don't have a defense either. So I don't know what you make of this whole division. I really don't. It's up in the air, and if you want to go out and make a statement, go make a play for somebody.
Here's the problem. Go ahead, Mikey.
Oh, well, if you get Josh Gordon, he's got 3 weeks to learn the playbook because he's not playing for 3 weeks.
Sure.
So you have 3 weeks there. But I'm going to completely disagree with you guys. That I don't care who you guys think who they bring in. The Chargers will not win this division. It's not happening.
Wow.
Denver, because Denver is better than you think. They beat Carolina. Carolina may be one of the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah, but okay,
Denver's better than we think. But I do think that the quarterback position
is
not
make a season.
Yes, they are not going to be as successful quarterback-wise. The more the league sees their quarterback.
I've been listening to people say Denver has no quarterback, and you think they had one last year? They did not. They didn't have one. Manning was a new alarm, and everybody kept saying
even that defense isn't the same defense. They have a lot of players that left. I know what you're saying, Mikey. I totally agree with that aspect, but whoever, Trevor, what's his name? I don't even know.
Simeon.
Yeah. There you go. Kid's okay, but you expect him to. You got to have your quarterback at least make a few plays down the road. Brock Osweiler got them to a certain point.
I was very impressed with Simeon. I don't know how much.
I think you're going to be less impressed with Simeon as the season goes on. I was impressed with him too, but I think that your impression of Simeon is going to go down throughout the year because I think that
with film
he'll get exposed.
He's going to regress. People are going to get film on him, and Denver's not going to be the dominant force they were last year.
And you know what? Their running game looks a lot better than it did last year.
Yeah, their running game looks pretty good.
It looks really good, and so that's one. I think Kansas City has beaten us. So right now we're not as good as Kansas City, and even though the Raiders didn't look great against the Saints, they still won, and they pulled up a bunch of points. So as of right now, you look at all 4 teams. I don't think getting a guy like that's going to put giving up what's going to take to get Josh Gordon, which may be a second or third, is worth. The risk.
I don't
want
to trade for Josh Gordon because I just don't think that bringing him in here there's enough time. I don't see him coming in and making an actual impact. I really don't.
Oh, I do immediately.
I just remember the price, guys. Again, you may end up giving up what ends up being a top 5, 10, top 10
It's
pick
not like baseball where you give up your 37th round choice. We only have 7 precious rounds in football, but that's one thing. I don't think
in baseball you can trade for a guy and he's starting the next night. It doesn't work like that in football.
No, definitely, because there's no playbook to learn.
Right.
You go up there and you swing a bat.
Yeah. Or throw a ball.
Right. Not to say baseball is not a hard sport. It is, but football, you got to learn everything from day one. It's new language, as they say all the time. You got to learn an entirely different language.
Yep.
I think it's kind of like in a way it's kind of like baseball. Oh.
We go old school. You say, "Hey, you run to that pylon. That's where the ball's going to be."
Yeah, it doesn't quite work like that.
I think, guys, it's kind of like baseball in the fact that it's just too early to make that move. You don't know who the Chargers really are. You saw 2 different Chargers teams in that game.
Yeah.
And I think right now the reaction automatically is to jump and say we can do this because we saw the first half Chargers, and we think if we had Josh Gordon type, we'll be back to that first half Chargers team. I really feel
Josh Gordon and Keenan Allen are completely different type of wide receivers.
They are different types, but you know what I'm saying? Like at this point, like I look at the second half and I think this is a last place team because of the way they played in the division. So
see, I watched the first half and think that we're a first place team.
I watched the first half and said, just give us the trophy.
Yeah.
Well, and this leads me to believe they're not going to probably sign anybody this week. And what I alluded to earlier, use Danny Woodhead more in the slot. Line him up in the slot with Melvin Gordon and the fullback together with Phillip under center because that's what was successful on Sunday. When you have Danny Woodhead, lined up, he's a threat every time. He's a threat. It doesn't matter if he's in the backfield or if he's lined up at wide receiver. He's a threat. So you have to be aware of the guy. I just, in the passing game, you're going to have to utilize everything you have now, all your resources, and Ken Whisenhunt has to figure it out.
Yeah, he does have to figure it out. We got Vince Wright in the chat room. He has his own podcast out of Minnesota. Want to thank him for joining. He has a question here. He says, he's channeling his inner Hal right here. He says,
awesome. Love this guy.
When do you let Rivers go? He isn't going to get you to the promised land.
And, can I go first? Can I go first on this one?
Go for it.
I mean, you have to be honest with yourself. Is this team rebuilding? And if you are, you have to rebuild. And again, every year that you keep Phillip Rivers during when you should rebuild is a year you're wasting of his value. And I remember, again, when I started working with you guys on the show, that was the first time I'd ever heard anyone ever say anything bad about Phillip Rivers. And through the Sports Junkies, I met a lot of people who think that way. So if you do think that way, that needs to be soon. If you're going to rebuild, that's
the problem is that'll never happen.
Yeah,
there's a couple points. He's too big of a fan favorite in San Diego, for one. He's too good of a dude. And I know being a good dude doesn't apply to the football field, but it does because he's still pretty productive. But there's a stadium vote coming up. You can't get rid of your quarterback and go, hey, we're
you don't rebuild before you get the stadium.
Right, that's it. You don't do that. So that won't happen for a few years regardless. And I think he can play till he's 40. I really do. I believe that. He might not be as efficient as he is right now at this point, but he still will be pretty productive as a quarterback.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Phillip Rivers. The style that he plays lends itself to playing all the way late into your career. Yeah. Because he's never been known with a huge arm. I mean, he can throw the ball deep, but he doesn't have the huge arm. He doesn't have great mobility. He doesn't run fast. And all those athletic things that you need your quarterback that a lot of quarterbacks use to get them by. He doesn't have any of those things. He just makes really good decisions, and he's good at reading defenses, and that's not going to change. But my answer to Vince, when do you let Rivers go? As soon as we have a better option. And I don't see a better option because I think Phillip Rivers is still a really good quarterback, one of the best in the league. We get a better option. Hey, it's all about the wins, and it's all, I don't have a problem. But just letting him go just to let him go is ridiculous. Yeah. There's not a better option. Kellen Clemens isn't better. Berkovici, who isn't even on the team anymore, we gave him as much benefit of the doubt as possible, but ultimately he didn't show anything. There's nobody out there that's gettable, that's better than Phillip Rivers, so why would you let him go?
Go ahead, Jason.
It's Josh's turn.
Sorry, Josh.
Here's a side thought. We jump ship a lot if you guys listen to us on a daily basis.
Yes.
We need more Hunter Henry.
Yeah?
We need him in the passing game. We need more two tight end sets. Are they going to be running, or are they both going to be running patterns? We need to have more Hunter Henry now with Keenan Allen out. He has the opportunity to put another pretty talented body out there that can continue to march this offense down the field. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that I'm going to give Whisenhunt the benefit of the doubt and say he was not expecting to lose Keenan Allen, so we kind of scrambled a little bit in the second half. He's got a whole week to figure this out. There is no excuse coming out next week and having our offense not be able to move the ball.
We didn't talk about weathering the storm either, guys. What I just told you with a little more Danny Woodhead, and like Josh said, you can mix in Hunter Henry. He's very talented. He needs some game.
Maybe get Gates a little bit more involved.
Well, Hunter needs some games under his belt too.
Yeah.
That was his first game. He did it. I thought he did a great job at blocking. I saw some of his blocks. He did all right.
Had a nice catch.
Yeah, he just needs more experience. But utilize him. You could put him in the slot. You could put Gatesy on the line, or you could put Hunter on the line for a blocking type. The options are endless now, guys. I mean, just because Keenan's gone, now they can actually game plan without Keenan. I think that was a big issue. You don't go into a game. You go into a game knowing what you're going to do best. They wanted to go to Keenan early and often, and once he was gone, the offense struggled mightily.
Yeah.
It did.
Do you put the weight of the offense on Melvin Gordon? Do you go?
Yes. He's your first round pick that you traded up for. Of course, Josh, you know that.
Yeah.
You don't even have to ask that. Yes, you do. I don't know why they didn't run him 25, 30 times.
Well, and the reason
that's why he asked it, because we didn't do it.
Exactly.
Right. Well, not only that is we've always, aside from when LaDainian Tomlinson was here, we've always relied on Phillip Rivers. And, maybe we need to take the pressure off of Phillip Rivers and put some of the pressure on Melvin Gordon and that offensive
We've
line.
been saying that for 7 years now. The defense has to step up too, guys, to help Phillip Rivers. So it works hand in hand.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think that the answer, if we can circle back again, the answer to replacing Keenan Allen is already on the team, and that is Melvin Gordon. That's Derek Watt. That's Danny Woodhead being part of the receiving game, but not as the only back. He can't be the only back out there. I love what you said earlier. Melvin Gordon and Danny Woodhead both in the game at the same time. Let Danny Woodhead go out there into the slot. And still, but the thing is, you still have to hand the ball off to Melvin Gordon because we can't be predictable.
Right.
That we need to get Hunter Henry more involved. In the passing game, we need to get Antonio Gates more involved. He seemed to be pretty much an afterthought. Sure. There's lots of options. The season is not over with Keenan Allen. As much as it felt like it when he went down, the season is not over. And going out and trading for Giancarlo Stanton is not the answer. We need to. We need to do with what we have. I think bringing another guy in here is not the answer. That I just don't think that we can be successful.
That's what I was trying to allude to earlier. You go into a game with a game plan, right?
Yes.
Your offensive coordinator. They wanted to utilize Keenan Allen early and often. They wanted to run with Melvin Gordon. It was working perfectly. One guy goes down, game plan changes a little. I don't know why they shied away from the bigger back. That was just mind-boggling. You think they would be able to change it on the fly, but they didn't, okay?
Yeah.
Now you go into this Jacksonville game, you have a different plan. Let's make that different plan with the guys you got here already. You drafted a Hunter Henry in the second round. We already touched on that. And I keep pounding this because you're going to see it this week, and I'm going to predict this. Danny Woodhead's going to have like 10 catches in this game, and you're going to go, what the hell, 100 yards receiving. He has to be utilized in the pass game, and that's
on first
and
second down, though, not just third.
All the time.
Yes,
all the time with Melvin in the backfield.
And you're not just saying that because he's on your fantasy team, right?
No, I'm not. But we just we're just all sitting here going, who's going to receive the Who's going to receive the football? Dom Williams? No.
Yeah.
Danny Woodhead's going to receive the football.
The only reason that I mentioned Dom Williams at all, my point was, we don't need to sign anybody. My point was we don't need to trade for anybody.
I'm not knocking what you were saying. I'm just saying there are already guys here better than Dom Williams, and you can bring a guy off on the street better.
Dom Williams is not the answer. The only reason I said that is because I want, and I said bring him in as the fifth wide receiver and have him inactive like they had Isaiah Burse. I think Isaiah Burse can bring something to our offense. He's not the answer, but I think that he can bring something to the offense, and maybe he can have that one game where he has, 6 or 7 catches. But going out and trading for Josh Gordon would be a huge mistake. Bringing back James Jones would be a huge mistake. I didn't listen to any of the radio shows at all this week because I was just so bummed out, and I hate hearing people call in just saying ridiculous things. I'm sure that somebody somewhere mentioned seeing if Malcolm Floyd wanted to come out of retirement. I don't know if that was ever mentioned or not.
I think it's a good time now to put up our number so people can call and say ridiculous things.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's shout it out, dude. This would be fun. 619-866-4567. If you have something ridiculous to say, call us.
Yes. Cisco just joined us in the... Speaking of ridiculous, Cisco... No, I'm just kidding. Cisco just joined us in the chat room. He predicted 8-8. Now it doesn't even look like that. Fire McCoy already. If you can't win, get out. You know what I wanted to open up the show with, and I forgot to do it? I wanted to say, welcome everybody to Overreaction Wednesday. People who are saying fire McCoy after one game didn't like him anyways. You just don't like him anyways.
You're right. I don't.
Which is fine. Hey, like him or don't like him, but
guys,
we
don't need to not like him to not be heartbroken on the first week of football.
You can't.
They also watched the Patriots beat Arizona with no quarterback and no tight end.
Yeah. No,
taking a shower over there.
I fucking hate the Patriots. I don't want to talk about the Patriots.
Josh is taking a shower.
You know what's funny? I got one of the...
It doesn't matter. The Patriots can plug in anybody.
what's funny is we're watching that game, and my daughter and I are watching it, and the other team is lining up for the game-winning field goal, and she says, "Do you think he's going to make it?" And I said, "Of course he's not going to make it, because fucking the breaks go for the Patriots all the time. So this guy will not make this field goal, and of course he didn't."
Hey, I'm gonna jump on what Josh just said. They probably get Griff Whalen, and he'll be a superstar.
Yeah,
too, so.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not the Patriots. Stop comparing us to the Patriots. No, the Patriots are the Patriots. I can't fucking stand talking about the goddamn Patriots.
Me neither, buddy. I can only laugh.
Yes.
It heals the pain.
So if
what happened to your Cardinals out there in the desert?
If you want, if you want to have any. If you do have any crazy ideas or ridiculous things, including, I'm sorry, Cisco, but firing the head coach after one game is not a good move. I'm sorry.
That's not crazy, Cisco.
If they were gonna fire him, they should have fired him. But you can't fire him after game one, for crying out loud. But
no, I agree with
but. I welcome you to call in anyways. 619-866-4567. Anybody who wants to come up with a...
Marty Schottenheimer might be old, but he can come fucking coach.
That's another thing. I had some people at my work, some vendors who we see every week say, hey, I heard they got Marty Schottenheimer.
Every year we hear that, so it doesn't matter. I love that.
You know, Schottenheimer, the only coach that we should be thinking about hiring is Bobby Ross, because he's the only one that ever took us to the Super Bowl. None of these other coaches ever took us to the Super Bowl, so Stop with the Marty Schottenheimer. He choked just like everybody else.
Yell at us, Jason. Jeez, we're just trying to listen to you, and you're shouting. And you just need more Ovaltine, please.
I know. Someone's throwing some Ovaltine.
Unbelievable.
I do need more Ovaltine. And Cisco says I love the guy. He must be talking about McCoy. But come on,
that's what I mean.
It's always the same thing. He can't conserve a lead.
Well, you know what though, he has a valid point, because when you're up 27-3, how do you blow a lead?
Yeah.
I mean, he has a valid point.
No,
I get that.
I got nothing to say. We weren't able to conserve a lead.
Everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yeah.
Whether it was not time management, not milking the clock out with the run game, the power run game, I might add, with the bad punts and the bad field goal decision, which I thought was a bad field goal decision, and then you miss it and give them back at midfield. Yeah. Those are two swinging things in the game. You give it right back.
And you guys know me. I've told you I think McCoy is very conservative. We've talked about this. Jason's conservative as well.
Conservative coaches would have punted there. They wouldn't have kicked a field goal.
No. I'm but I'm like, his play calling is very conservative, and
he doesn't call the plays.
I know he doesn't, Jason. I know he doesn't. Whatever. I forgot you were right there on the sideline.
I was
watching Whisenhunt call all the plays.
I tuned into their frequency.
Mikey's trying to say that he can override stuff. I mean,
he can.
If he's the head coach, you have a little guff and say some shit.
He can. I doubt that he's over there doing it. And you know what?
But he should.
You mean like should.
He'll do his job.
He shouldn't. He should be deciding to go for it on 4th down. He should be the guy making the decision to kick that 54-yard field goal, which I thought was a good decision.
He should be wondering where Melvin Gordon went.
Terrible decision.
He's not the one who said, "Hey, I got an idea. Let's throw 2 wide receiver screens in a row and see if those get the." He's not the one who said that.
But at some point he's gonna look over and go like, "Really?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, that's what he did do. He did that after the second one and said, "Really?" As our 19 fucking yard punter is jogging out onto the goddamn field.
And then he said, "Go ahead, call the next play, Ken."
No, he didn't. It was over. It was 4th down already. The only thing he could do is punt on 4th and 27.
I'm sure he wasn't going to go over there and take the play call from him. He's like, all right, next time, do better, buddy.
Yeah.
Next time, just call one of those.
Call one that'll work.
Do something right over there.
Throw it deep.
Knock it off.
I'm just saying, he can make that executive decision. This isn't like a vote or anything.
Yeah, you
can't
do
have to count ballots before he takes over the play call. He can just go ahead and do it.
How about those 2-0 Aztecs, huh?
Yeah, let's okay.
How about a Heisman Trophy candidate?
Let's do that. Thank you, Josh.
Let's go to commercial. So I have to gather my thoughts.
You want to? Okay. So hold on. So you throw that at me before I'm even prepared. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do.
Mike McCoy?
Yes.
Ouch!
Ouch!
I can mute you anytime I want.
I know you could.
All right. We're gonna take a quick break.
The ratings would drop.
You're right. They would. We're so done talking about the Chargers. We will be talking more Chargers on Sunday morning. Join us Sunday from 9 to 10. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk some Aztecs. Right down Mike Maciejewski's alley.
podcasters. Have you ever wanted your voice to be heard? Do you need help expanding your audience? Are you curious just how far your show could reach? Well, look no further. We are New Media Radio Network, the premier podcast streaming network. Let us take your show to the next level. For more information, check out our website, www.newmediaradio.net.
Do you need help with your business project that is due? Maybe you need business cards to help your business stand out. We at San Diego Sports Junkies got you covered. SK Digital Imaging can do it all. Give our buddy Sean K a call, 858-408-0732. SK Digital Imaging, from business cards to the bigger projects, SK Digital Imaging and our buddy Sean K will get your printing done right.
Okay, so
don't sound so excited, Jason.
Let me tell you, Supercharged just finally got into the chat room. He's on Midwest time, and it's been a long week for him. And unfortunately for him, we've been crying and moaning and bitching about the Chargers for 66 minutes and 27 seconds now. We're actually ready to move on to talking about the San Diego winning team right now, and that would be the Aztecs. However, if you want to call and mention anything about the game or have any ideas for what the Chargers should do or tell us what the fuck happened, Supercharged, call us at 619-866-4567. With that being said, we're going to move on to some Aztecs. Who all watched the game? I watched that game. I thought it was awesome. You were there, Mikey, right?
Justin and I were there, yes.
Justin was there. And then, Josh, did you get a chance to see it?
I was staring at a computer screen watching the play-by-play statistically.
You know what? I love that.
Apparently they don't have TVs in Arizona.
No, we do. It's just we're in Arizona, so you don't get anything San Diego.
So the game was an awesome game. You know, this is the one, you know, we talked about before the season started. If the Aztecs want to get, I don't know what the term is, if they want to get that next level bowl, you know, not the Idaho Potato Bowl or the number 2 pencil sharpener bowl or, you know, whatever bowls they've been making the last 2 years.
You're
if they
just
wanna,
looking at your desk and saying things.
Yeah. the empty cup of iced tea bowl.
Nice. That empty Coors Light can bowl.
The orange plier bowl. They if they want to get to that next level bowl, they're gonna have to go undefeated this year. And this was one of the games that kind of scared some people. They played fantastic, and at the same time, they almost blew it at the end. They almost blew that game at the end, but something happened with the Aztecs that is not able to happen with the Chargers, and that is somebody stepped up and made a goddamn play.
Yeah.
Right.
Mikey, Mikey, go ahead and take over, man. Give us your overall thoughts of the game.
Just to talk about that, it was funny. I kept seeing people saying, just like the Aztecs when the Chargers were losing. And I'm like, I don't think the Chargers are going to pull this one out. But no, it was a great game. You know, you have your three studs, your three returning all Mountain West players. You know, you have your running back, Donnell Pumphrey, came through, broke Marshall Faulk's record for yards. I think 281, I believe.
Yeah,
he ran all over their ass.
Oh my God, he sure did.
Well, he broke his record for yards in a career.
Career, yes, in a career.
Yes.
So
with
281 touchdowns. Then you had DeMonte Casey, who came out and, you know, sealed the game with the pick.
And he had an up and down game. You know, he didn't have a. You know, he had some interesting plays.
The one guy, the kid they were picking on was
31. Who's that?
Derek Babish. Babish.
He had a rough game. He had a really rough game.
Yeah, you know, there's been speculation, and I wasn't able to check today, but Billy Vaughn Jr., who usually is the guy who mans that position for the most part, even he was getting beat. People are wondering if he was hurt because he definitely didn't look like himself. But Casey, I mean, when they threw to Casey, he either hit someone really hard or he was he was defending the passes. So it was kind of like, he was locking down his side of the field. And then, of course, you had Rashad Penny, the Special Teams Player of the Year.
Yes.
That run was
how awesome was that?
First of all, he opens the scoring with a touchdown on a wheel route.
Yep.
And then he takes a return after the Cal ties it. Right away, he takes the kickoff right back for a touchdown and puts the Aztecs up 14-7. Yeah, it was you saw the three guys shine, and yeah, I mean it was tight, and people keep pointing to the fact that Cal's quarterback threw for over 500 yards, but he also threw 72 times because they could not get the running game going. The only reason they got some big yards on the running game is because at that point the Aztecs were just preparing for the pass and playing the pass. Yeah, they're just playing the pass. They weren't even the linebackers were dropping back, and the only time they would attack is when they were blitzing, sending 6-7 guys into the quarterback. So it was a great game. It was very tense at the end. Obviously, the Aztecs weren't able to put them away, but they got their big victory. Right. And like I said, the Cal quarterback looked really good. He played very well. He made some nice passes, and I think this Cal's a little bit of a down year here, but they still might be a good team just because of that offense they have.
Now, are the Aztecs ranked yet?
No, they're actually 28th in the AP poll.
Still can't quite crack that 25, huh?
But they're getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they passed Boise State, which is important when it comes to the end of the year Mountain West Championship.
What were your thoughts, Mikey, and us, Justin? Both of you guys were at the game. What were your guys' thoughts about the Aztecs quarterback play? I know last year Maxwell Smith, I was not a huge fan. As the season went on, he played a little bit better, but I was never really sold on Maxwell Smith. This year, quarterback play, what do you guys think? Go ahead, Mikey, you first.
Oh, well, I mean, Christian Chapman started off pretty well. I mean, he made a couple good plays. Today, unfortunately, Micah Holder actually dropped a couple passes that I thought he should have had, which didn't help Chapman much. And he didn't make the interception, and there was the exchange and the fumble. But, he did well. And if you had watched Cal play Hawaii ran for 256 on Cal. You kind of knew that the Aztecs could run over this Cal defense. So you knew you weren't going to have to throw the ball around too much. Justin, what did you see?
Same thing, Mikey. You know what, though? I thought at crucial times he played very well. Mm-hmm. He's not the most polished guy.
No.
Obviously, he's still learning. We can see it. He's pretty raw. But the way he handled himself the last few games of last season up until now, you can see a growth that's happened. I'm very excited about the future with him because he is a little mobile guy. He can get outside the pocket. I like he can throw on the run a little bit. And he's kind of got a big arm, so to say. It's not huge, but he can get it there. And he's building rapport with some of these wide receivers. I love Eric Judge and I love Michael Holder. So just getting these guys involved more with getting the rapport down and definitely going into the conference season. I think these guys are going to be on a mission. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch them.
And Judge I thought was the better receiver.
Right, I did too.
Especially after Holder had that huge game against New Hampshire where he went for 160 plus. You like I said, I saw him drop like at least 2 to 3 passes where he could have either kept the drive alive.
And it's kind of nice to see, right? 2 guys that we can rely on now, like full time. And I think Michael Holder and Eric Judge have solidified, a 1 and 2. But whether who is 1 or 2, it doesn't really matter. I just love the. I guess it's just the rapport these guys have now with the running backs to the wide receivers. The offense seems to click, and the offensive line is massive. And they really took it to Cal on Saturday night. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was a really, really nice game to watch. It was really fun and exciting to watch a Aztecs football team that playing a school that everybody's heard of before.
Yeah,
and winning the game. Instead of East South Carolina. A&T or whatever,
right?
So it was nice to see them playing,
Tech.
Yeah, or some correspondence school or something like that. I mean, remember,
DeVry University, we beat their ass.
Yeah, they were. We were losing to Grand Canyon and stuff in the past. So.
Don't say that. That still hurts my.
I know it does. So. That I think that's a no-cut football school too, by the way. So it's nice to see them. Of course, is Cal ranked in the top 10? No, but they're still it's like them beating a big boy school, and it's nice to see them do that. They need to keep going.
They almost did it last year at Penn State. They should have won that game, and they let it get out of control, and that was their fault. But yeah, they've had their moments, but this was a huge win at home for them.
I still think the quarterback play needs to get a little bit tighter. I think that as great as Pumphrey is, and it's funny is because every school is out there trying to stop Pumphrey. But there will be some schools that are going to be able to contain him a little bit, and we're going to need to get a little bit more out of our quarterback than I've seen so far if we want to go undefeated this year. And ultimately, we're going to have to go undefeated if we want to get a big bowl.
If he continues this current pace that he's on, he could finish as the number 2 all-time leading rusher in NCAA history.
Yeah, he could.
It's tough to see.
If he's going to get about 300 yards a game.
Yeah.
Because he got about 280 or something.
He's averaging 189, and he's got to continue that pace, which is definitely doable, especially against the Mountain West.
I don't think it's doable. I think that's a little bit much to expect.
I think it's very doable.
You do?
Well, he's pretty talented. I don't know. You're going to have to average 2 to 250 a game probably, which is doable in their offense.
250 will make him number 1 overall.
See, the problem is I think that he's going to have a game where they just completely sell out to stop him, and he's going to have like a 70-yard game.
And
not that the Aztecs are going to lose. I mean, maybe we're going to come out and still kick ass, but he might have a 70-yard game in a big victory, and that's really going to screw that up.
But I wanted to bring something up, too. I was hearing on the radio the other day when I was listening to a little college talk, and they're talking San Diego State, and they're talking potential, and this just sounds silly, but they could actually get into the Final Four, but not in my opinion, but there are possible ways for them to get in. If a lot of the big schools went down 2 or 3 times, there are ways for them to slip in there. I know that sounds ridiculous. I know they're a lock for a New Year's Day bowl if they continue on this pace and do very well. But to hear like somebody say or even bring up that they could play for a national title, I was like in my truck going, "Are you kidding me? Like that sounds ridiculous."
You're right. That sounds ridiculous.
It does. It sounds stupid. Like you wouldn't even imagine it. But they said if the cards fell right and they dominated their opponents the right way, and certain teams all this mumbo jumbo. Even then, I couldn't even see it.
In 8-3, Alabama would smash the Aztecs.
Well, you don't know that though. I mean, I know it sounds. The SEC's got the best.
Yeah, I think they'd have a real tough time beating Alabama.
They would have a tough time, but you don't know how it would go.
Yeah,
First of all, Alabama wouldn't be 8-3, but they might beat an 8-3 Florida State team.
And that's if you get into one of these big time bowl games, and I'll let you talk to Mike. I'm sorry, but in one of these big New Year's bowl games, that's what you get to. That's the exposure you get. You'll get an SEC team, and you'll get your chance to knock off a heavyweight.
Supercharged says Fiesta Bowl would be the likely place for them.
That would be amazing. Amazing.
Exactly.
That would be program change.
I mean, look at it this way. I mean, I think Houston went last year.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who they beat, but they won their bowl game last year, as they were one of the best of the rest or whatever. And then you have the times when Boise State went up against a BCS team and they still won. So it can happen. It's one game, and this team is not a bad team. Obviously, playing Cal and keeping it close, that's something that happens early in the season, but. Especially with my kind of issue, not my issue, but I was kind of worried that Cal threw so much, considering I never thought our cornerbacks were going to be that much of an issue again. So that was kind of eye-opening, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think they cleaned that up a little bit, Mikey?
Oh, definitely. And now, I mean, they're going to go to Northern Illinois, and we're talking a little bit off the air, but Northern Illinois. Let me tell you guys about Northern Illinois. They're 0-2. They lost to Wyoming. In that triple overtime game at the first week of the season, and they're starting. Their starting quarterback is injured again. He's going to be out for a while. Their backup played a little bit. He's one of those. It's kind of like a Chapman. Doesn't throw for many yards. Last week he went 9 for 15 for 65 yards. and a touchdown. So let's see, their running attack is 290 yards after 2 games. And I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm just sitting here smiling, telling you these stats because that was against Wyoming and I think it was South Florida.
Yeah.
So
I think the game that scares me, Mikey, and I'm not. I mean, South Alabama, we got to go there, and they just beat us here last year.
Yeah, they shouldn't have.
They just knocked off an SEC school in Mississippi State at their place. They knocked them off by a missed field goal by Mississippi State, which was the biggest shocker in all of college football probably a week ago.
Right.
I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, going into South Alabama's place, I'm sure there'd be about 10 people there, but they just beat an SEC school. And they're still playing good football right now, and that kind of scares me a little bit. Even though I know we have a good football team, but they did knock us off at our house.
Right. No, definitely, and we'll see because this is also the same South Alabama lost to Georgia Southern, 24-9 the week before. So we're going to see them for the next 2 weeks against the powerhouses of Louisiana Lafayette and Nichols. You know, so we'll get to see how they do. But I mean,
2-10 over those 2 games.
Yeah, so I'm sure they'll be watching film a lot about those guys. But no, seriously, I feel like going on the road. This is a veteran team. This team is what you want. Again, this is my big issue with them not being the consensus favorite to win the entire Mountain West and being ranked higher. You brought back a big veteran presence. You brought back veteran seniors who are superstars at their position in Casey, in Pumphrey, in Munson, in Penny's not a senior, but Saragusa, all these guys, and these guys are studs at their position. So I don't think you're going to have what you had last year with this horrible start, where there was guys, which was obviously that guys were not playing at the level they should have been playing. I feel like it'll be an interesting game. I feel that Northern Illinois is going to be overmatched this game, and I feel they should very much be. And I really don't see how San Diego State is going to lose in the non-conference. And once we get to conference, we can talk more. But right now, these next 2 games, I believe we have a bye before the South Alabama game.
I don't even know how they're going to lose.
Let me ask you this: if I don't have the schedule in front of me, Josh, I know you were looking some stuff up. You might, and Mike, you probably have it memorized. Give me one game, after Cal, because Cal was kind of the big, anything can happen here game. Is there any games, of course anything can happen, but are there any games coming forward? What's the next one that kind of worries you a little bit, that makes you think, oh, this one's going to be kind of tough?
For me, honestly, I'm in the thinking that the Aztecs are going to go undefeated. I'm in that.
It's tough.
I'm in them. I mean, it's tough, but
Who beats them, Hawaii?
I believe, I mean, there's going to be some tough ones. Don't get me wrong. UNLV is going to be better. I know they're not going to win. Well, I don't think they're going to win.
They better not lose to
They're not going to win, dude.
Yeah.
I don't see a loss on our schedule, dude. I don't know where you're even looking.
I don't see it either. Again,
you don't? You just said you did.
No, I said they're going undefeated.
Oh, you said they are going undefeated.
I thought you said they weren't going.
I thought you said you weren't too.
I heard they weren't going undefeated.
Yeah, it was the bathroom echo.
Yeah, they will go undefeated.
Your echo was confusing us.
Yes.
Sorry.
He was, talking on the negative facet.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't have a game that stands out that they'll lose. But Positive Patty here thinks that they're going to lose at least one.
Yeah.
And I don't think they should. And I think
It's positive.
I think that they're going to be. Favored in every single game. Yeah, but Positive Patricia just I don't know. Going undefeated. Going undefeated is tough. And
I wish they would have.
We were talking the same thing last year with the Aztec basketball team. We were looking at the schedule, going, they could go undefeated. They should be favored in every single game, and they weren't able to do it. I know it's basketball and football. I understand that.
Different.
You're right.
No,
You're right.
I'm glad you brought
It's different.
it up.
One of them has a round ball, one of them has an oblong ball. I understand.
Yeah, and one of them plays 40 games.
You're right.
And that's the schedule I was looking up because that just got released, the non-conference schedule. Looking at it, we're at Gonzaga, which when did we go there last, Mikey? Like 2010?
2011.
2011.
Are you talking basketball?
We've moved on to basketball.
Gonzaga, November 14th. We face Cal at November 21st.
Okay.
We got that tough game at Grand Canyon University.
That is tough, actually.
We play Arizona State.
No-cut team.
And then we have the chance of playing Tulsa or Stephen F. Austin and then the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. So, I mean, the Aztecs got a lot tougher non-conference schedule, and kind of excited about it.
All right, thank you, Brian Dutcher. Back to football. So let's get to the. I think the only team on this schedule that would pose a threat would be Utah State on the football schedule, guys.
Yeah. Do you think they go undefeated, Justin?
Yeah, I do. And I don't say it like they're not going to have tough times in a game and it's not going to be close. They're going to have their struggles, but I think in every game they have so much talent superior to the talent of the other team that they're going to be undefeated. That's just my opinion. And if they do, they're going to get a really good bowl game.
So Mikey says undefeated, Justin says undefeated. Josh, you think they're going undefeated before you go, Mikey?
I thought they were going undefeated after they beat Cal. I thought that was going to be their only big challenge. Just looking at the schedule, before the year even started, I thought that was going to be tough because their quarterback is legit. I knew they had a good passing attack, and I figured if we could get past that one, that we have a good chance of going undefeated.
Yeah, it certainly improved when that game. Mikey, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you, who do you think they're going to lose to, Jason?
I don't know. At
Fresno State, at Utah State.
Every game I look at,
San Jose State.
Every game I look at, they should win, and I think they're going to win. But I just think that it's tough to win every single game. It's just a tough thing to do.
Wouldn't it be crazy if Pumphrey rushed for like 200 yards each game?
All right, let me ask you this:
he was on the podium for the Heisman.
Here's the next question then. So of course I'm the one that's being outvoted here. So let's go with the assumption that they're going undefeated, which I certainly hope they do.
Right.
They go undefeated. Where are they ranked at the end of the year? I understand that you could say, well, it depends on how the other good teams go. I don't care.
Great question.
I just want to know, where are they ranked
10th in the
at
country.
The end of the? Do you think they'll be all the way to 10th if they're
I think
undefeated?
They'll be a top 10 team. I do.
So you say number 10. What do you say,
Josh? If they can get in next week after a win, they're going to get in here soon. But I think they can propel themselves and keep propelling. Like, in basketball, kind of downward spiral. If you get some momentum going, the committee's on your side with a Heisman candidate.
Yeah.
You can climb the polls. I think they end up around 10 to 12 at the end of the season.
Okay.
If we go undefeated, the East Coast bias won't put us any higher than 20.
Wow. I think that the truth lies right in between the two of you. I say about number 14. What do you see, Mikey? What do you say?
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah.
Josh is getting a lot of Ovaltine.
Josh Berkovici Taylor.
He's going to have some strong bones.
What do you say, Mikey? If they do go undefeated, if they do go undefeated, where are they ranked at the end of the year?
I'm going to say 13. I'm with you, Jason. I'm going to say 13, only because their schedule is the next couple weeks. Like I said, Northern Illinois is 0-2, South Alabama is 1-1, and even though they did beat Mississippi State later on in the season, they beat us last year. Then they ended up like 5-9 and missed the bowl game.
You know what though, guys? Mm-hmm. When we beat a Cal and that quarterback's coming on like he is, and he's throwing for all those yards, we'd be rooting hard for Cal, and they're going to beat some good teams this year. I guarantee you that. So just keep that in mind. All those wins Cal racks up this season, keep an eye on them.
Yeah, and definitely, like I said, once we beat South Alabama, I hope they beat LSU because that'd be great.
Which week do they play Merrick Nursing College?
That would be between Louisiana Monroe and Georgia State, I believe.
Okay.
I could see the Aztecs being higher in the top 25 if Boise was still in the Mountain West, but without Boise in the Mountain West, we don't have a whole lot of competition, boys.
Yeah.
But see, you're gonna get.
Well, we're playing agriculture and dental. I mean, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah. No, but see, Josh, again, and honestly, we have to really cheer for Boise State to go undefeated as well. So when we get to that the conference championship game, we'll have an undefeated Aztecs versus an undefeated.
Wouldn't that
Boise
be
State.
pretty awesome?
And that might make a big jump. Again, though, I feel you're on the outside looking in because Houston had that huge win against stupid Oklahoma, I believe it was.
Stupid Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They were ranked, weren't they?
Yeah, they were ranked third.
But they can't read.
And then, but no, hey, guys, Houston's at 6. Houston's at 6, and their schedule's not that difficult moving forward, I believe. So, that was a huge win for them. Our biggest win's going to be Cal. And if we beat, if we beat Boise State, like in the championship game, that would be our biggest win.
We will.
So, but I'm saying it's not like being the number 3 team in the nation.
No, it's not. But we gotta follow who Boise plays this early on. I don't think they play anybody crazy significant, but we got to follow who we beat. South Alabama got a great win over the SEC school. That's a big factor. I mean, I know it's not huge, but if South Alabama can go off and knock some teams off, that's fine. It's just any resume you can build.
So if we're an Aztec fan, we're a Boise State fan this year, at least in the championship game, because we want them to win a bunch of games too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough. Who the Aztecs playing this week?
They're playing Northern Illinois.
That's right. Northern Illinois, and Aztecs are favored by what, 60?
I don't know the line there.
6 touchdowns, yes.
I only use the line for entertainment purposes.
That's right.
I don't know what the line is, but when I look that up, I'll let you know.
Well, I'll tell you what. I look forward to watching the game because at least the Aztecs are a real fun team to watch, and the game started so goddamn late last week for I am an old man.
It lasted
43.
4.5 hours.
Yeah, and I was. Almost,
I didn't get home till like 1.
In the third quarter, I was dozing a little bit.
I stayed in the parking lot a while too. So
what a surprise!
Yeah, no, it's not a surprise at all.
Drinking your canned Ovaltine.
No. I wasn't drinking. I was celebrating.
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
Nice. I do want to remind everybody. I should have said at the beginning, but you know how this show is. We don't know what we're doing.
We don't have a script.
Next week,
our producer's lost on opiates.
He is lost. Next week, instead of Wednesday, we're going to be doing our show on Monday because somebody will be out of town, and that somebody is me.
By 9, Jason.
What's that?
Aztecs are favored by 9.
That's
it.
My
gosh, I need to go bet on that game. I mean, it's
that's retarded.
They should be able to win by 9
together and put
seriously.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start a GoFundMe to bet on the Aztecs.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, 9 does.
Let's all get rich. GoFundMe.
Yeah,
everybody donate $300. We're gonna make this work.
We're gonna let it ride.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, anyways, I think we've done enough damage this week. We cried a whole lot about the Chargers. We were very happy.
We were mad at each other, but we agreed with everything we were saying.
Yeah.
Can before we go, can I just bring up one topic? I know we haven't talked about it yet.
Sure.
Okay, I'd like to bring up a Padre topic.
Okay. Who though? Yeah. I mean, dude, literally have to talk Padres on here and.
The sweep against the Giants.
They swept, but I have a question, and I saw a little bit of talk on it on Twitter.
Okay.
You guys still like the Will Myers for Trey Turner trade?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I know Trey's coming on late, and he's doing really well. But I think Will's potential is as good. He's just as good, but he's a different kind of player than Trey is.
I do.
I do.
Josh?
I don't know, Mikey. I think I still like the Trey Turner just because he's not to say Will Myers isn't young, but Will Myers has injury issues. At this point, Trey Turner does not. So that would be the only concern I'd have, but they're both extremely talented.
Let's be completely honest. If Trey Turner was wearing a Padre uniform, he'd be batting about 210 with 1,000 strikeouts. Because that's what happens. I'm
just doing in St. Louis.
I'm just fine because at least the guy that we got, although he slumped a little bit in the second half for crying out loud, they've gotten rid of everybody else. He's got nobody batting around him. At least we're getting some successful play out of the guy that we got for him.
How about this? Ryan Schimpf is our starting second baseman in 2017.
Oh, no, Carlos Asuaje is.
You think so?
Yeah.
I say
they're going to trade Schimpf for a good piece.
Schimpf is going to pass.
We're going to trade him for Trey Turner.
High on Schimpf, dude. Schimpf's never done this in his entire life.
It's something to call him Schimpf.
He's going to trade his ass like no tomorrow, dude. Carlos Asuaje, Hunter Renfroe, Manny Margot, and you'll see Austin Hedges up here next year.
Well, if the Padres lose more than 3 more games this year, I got to buy my boss lunch, so they got to win a whole lot of games.
The Giants are doing well.
Yeah, so far so good. I think that they can only lose 3 more games this year from the bet that we made. I said that they would win at least 1 game more than they did last year. That was at the beginning of the year. Hey, you thought they were going to do better this year too.
Oh, I didn't. 100-loss season. I said road to the.
You did not. I'm going to rewind the tape. I don't remember 100-loss season.
You better rewind that shit.
I remember you saying 100-loss season after you had stopped watching.
Yeah. I stopped watching like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
By the way, you guys are crazy on the Will Myers Trey Turner trade. But
of course we are.
It's not crazy though. I mean, what's Trey Turner's doing a flash in the pan right now. He can run. He's so fast. He's like the fastest guy in the major leagues. I get it. But what else? I mean, he's hitting
340.
Okay,
he's hitting what? He's hitting what?
So was Will Myers at the break. Will Myers is hitting very well too. He's in a slump. We'll see how it turns out.
He's batting his career average. He's batting his career average, 258.
Will Myers is not Will Myers without Matt Kemp behind him.
He's got to have somebody behind him anyways.
Get out of here. Matt Kemp sucks.
But I'm just saying he doesn't have protection now, and Will Myers' power numbers.
The point Josh is making is a valid point. It doesn't have to be Matt Kemp. It has to be anybody. We got to have somebody around him, and he doesn't have anybody around him.
They'll have Hunter Renfroe next year, and they're gonna go. See, he's only hit 55 bombs in the PCL league.
Yeah.
So
Mike hates the Padres.
Yeah,
he always talks shit about the Padres.
That's all he
does.
I don't.
Justin hates the Padres, but Justin hates the Padres because they start losing and it pisses him off.
I can't follow him anymore.
Mike hates them with Mike's hatred for the Padres are like he enjoys when they lose. I think. You just look at you're laughing. You got a big fucking smile. I can't even see you, and I can hear the smile on your face.
You know what I could do? Yeah. You know what I do is I literally just. And during my fantasy baseball auction, I buy guys that used to play for the Padres that were traded away.
Yeah,
and that's how I build my team, and I'm in the playoffs.
And you love it. You got a big smile on your face because you're a Padre hater.
I thought I was a nerd. Like football leagues, but you play fantasy baseball. You have to literally change your lineup every day.
Yeah,
I know, and I have Trey Turner killing it. That's why I asked. Only because I asked and I saw Will Myers slumping.
Sean Burrows and Ben Davis are they own a restaurant together.
You still have Eric Owens playing out there in the outfield for you, Mike?
Does anybody have him playing in the outfield out there for them?
Dude, hey, I know Orlando Hudson, O-Dog, would like a piece of that.
Orlando Hudson, good call. I forgot about him. Yeah. He really sucked ass when he got here. Another guy who made the mistake of drinking the water in San Diego.
He came from Arizona. These are the guys that we brought up and traded away.
We've had some really shit players here.
Yep.
Really.
And we've had some guys that go on to do really good stuff other places. I totally get all that. And apparently nobody's happier when that happens than Mikey. Mikey loves to see that. Hey, yay! Trey Turner, I love him because he's not on Padre and he's doing so good.
I just don't like the way the Padres do business.
Yeah.
I
think you do.
Baseball team name, will the real Padres do stand up?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Mikey's a businessman.
Yeah, Mikey.
I never knew him to be a businessman.
Like I've always said,
he does dominate that county fair at Cali Company.
James Shields is your starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, another guy. Yeah, he's doing great too.
Yeah. Again, guys that they brought up that they trade away, but
I will. Like Trey Turner's the only guy you can really say right
Rizzo?
Instead of Rizzo.
Okay, those are the two guys I have in my fan.
Those are
you can say Turner and then what?
Rizzo,
who else?
He's from Boston, so that don't count.
Rizzo. Yeah,
it does count because Rizzo would be a real nice sit first base for us right now.
Oh, as the ESPN bottom line comes on, Rizzo powers Cubs.
Of course he does.
There's one game the Central.
Hey guys, look, and I held back. I told you guys a long time ago. I don't care how the Padres spend money. Yeah, they're spending $60 million on dead money right now.
Yeah, I know that.
And that's not my money. And that's not my money. And I know that. Again, over the next 3 years, they're going to recoup that. They're going to somehow recoup that shit because they're not going to spend anything for the next 3 years, which sucks, which I hate.
Not your money, and I know you don't care, but at least they're spending some kind of money.
And Mike's hoping they do trade Schimpf so he can see him do really good on another team.
Dude, his value is this high.
Yeah,
he's gone.
Yeah,
dude, he's
Yeah.
He was like Logan Forsythe a couple years ago. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Go
No.
away.
Hey,
like
I mean,
5 bombs in a month. Get out.
but I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna complain. But remember what I said: don't let that stop you from spending money, and it's going to stop them from spending money.
You're right.
And I hate
players
don't
in
get
the
me.
system, guys.
I hate $20. I hate $20 tickets for Park in the Park. That's just killing me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not paying that to see these guys.
Too. That's why it's in over the fence.
Who scalped you for $20?
Yeah.
That's what they are on the website, man. You can see them play the
Wait,
Giants. It's
I
$20,
get 'em for
man.
$3 right in front of the stadium.
Well, yeah, I know that, but then I have to actually make. I have to pay more for parking than I do for the tickets.
I could
I'll take you out. We'll buy you a drink.
Yeah, I could watch them on. I can watch them on the TV for free.
All right.
And I still don't.
The only thing I can watch from Arizona is the damn Padres.
That's good for you.
And you still don't.
Oh, I do. And I have to drink my fucking tears away.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
It's
All
like
right.
watching-
All right. We've
long as
officially
you're-
bottomed out, guys.
Yeah, we have.
We're gonna go ahead and wrap things up.
Well, Mikey had to ruin it. He had to bring up the Padre talk.
Yeah, screw you, Mike.
What's going on?
All right, that's gonna.
We had a good roll, and we had to talk
Yeah.
about the flipping Padres.
You know, this
Yeah,
is
it was totally a good show today, guys. Very
Perfect.
positive.
Perfect.
Super positive. today.
perfect name for the show today. The show is called "What the Fuck Happened," and it could refer to the Charger game or what the fuck happened to this show. I want to invite anybody. I want to invite the two guys that happen to still be with us, who that we will be doing a live pregame show Sunday from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We do that every single Sunday. Join us. We'll be talking about this week's game.
Can I just add 1 second?
Supercharged is still with us, by the way, so thanks for sticking through all
It's a
this.
1 o'clock kick instead of a 10 a.m. kick.
Yes, I love that.
I love 1 p.m. kicks.
We're still doing a 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock pregame show, but the kickoff's not till 1, so you'll have an opportunity.
I hate the 1 p.m. kickoff.
Of course
Terrible.
you do. Of course you do.
that 1 a.m. Kickoff in Australia is
Of
a
course
tough
you
one,
do.
too.
And Mikey was rooting for Sean Phillips when he left the Chargers too.
Go take your bowling axe somewhere.
All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're San Diego Sports Junkies show for the fans.
By the Chargers depressed fans.
Go Cromartie. Love that guy.
That's going to do it for us.
Hey, is Ryan Leaf on your bench?
Yeah. See, the thing is, he roots
Literally, he's on the bench outside my house.
Yeah.
Waiting for a job.
He's loitering. See you guys on Sunday.
Shit show.
Thank you for listening to the San Diego Sports Junkies, a show for fans by the fans. Brought to you by Cali Comfort, home of the low and slow barbecue, and SK Digital Imaging with Josh Taylor, Justin Smead, Jason Eidsmoe, and Mike Maciejewski. Subscribe to us on iHeartRadio, on Spreaker, and on iTunes. Visit SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com for all your Chargers, Padres, and Aztecs news.